a.m., 6:30.
We ready?
Sure. Let's hit it.
You people ready? Always ready. On behalf of the Rainbow Lakes Estates Advisory Board, welcome to the November 21st, 2024 Advisory Board meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. If you need to take a call, please step outside. Talking or outbursts from the audience during the meeting will not be permitted. Please take seats if they are available. Board members and guests, if you wish to specifically call upon and speak with an individual in the audience during the meeting, please address the chair first. You do not need to address the chair to speak to other board members or anyone from the public who is addressing the board during the agenda or general public comment portion of the meeting. This board has not and will not allow in the past, nor will it allow in the future, personal attacks or insults against Rainbow Lakes Estates staff, advisory board members, or community volunteers. Please keep your comments appropriate. Okay. We're going to start with the invocation. Holy One, known by many names and beyond all names, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today. For each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hints, and daily instructions. We have talents, abilities, and time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for good. Your righteousness transcends all efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that puffs us up, and the pride that threatens to unqualify us. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from all comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this meeting today, all those present, all the residents, volunteers, and employees of Rainbow Lakes Estates, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterward. Ready us to make every moment count. Amen. Okay, please stand for the pledge.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tiffany, could you take the roll call, please?
Catherine Bryant. Here. Paula Gottlieb. Here. Alan McKay.
Here.
Dallas Sutherland.
Here.
Rico Sapuza. Wilcherson.
Do we have anybody for public comments or anything? For agenda item public comments?
Marcy.
What's that?
Marcy.
That's later on. All right, I need an approval of minutes. The approval of the minutes of the Rainbow Lakes Estates 5-year plan workshop that was held on October 17th, 2024. Any questions concerning these minutes? If not, I need a motion and a second needed to vote and approve.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now
Chair, does that cover both sets of minutes?
Nope. We're going on now. Okay. Approval of minutes for October 17th, 2024 board meeting. Any questions concerning these minutes? If not, I need a motion and a second to need it to vote and approve.
I so move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Committee reports. We will moving right along. Vice Chairman, Public Safety Representative Alan George McKay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The fire rescue incidents for last month, medical were 21, fire 49, and a total of 70. So activity was up. Station 14, which is the RLE station, four medical and 6 fire, and that was included in the total. I want to thank Marion County Fire and Rescue for stopping in and at the Fall Craft Fair. Unfortunately, there wasn't anybody here to thank, so thank you.
I'll pass that on.
Regarding the traffic signal installation, for Michael Sanders at FDOT, the latest update is we are narrowing down the signal design to mitigate right-of-way, lateral offset, and overhead electric power line conflicts. The intersection has some challenges for us to design around, presently looking at 2-arm mast signal structure on the west side of the intersection. There may be requirements for guardrail to shield the mast arm, and we're working through that with our roadway design office. And from Kevin Marquez at FDOT, we continue working on the design for the traffic signal. As Mike has shared, we have major obstacles relating to power utilities, railroad facilities, and right-of-way. Our current step is to develop alternative design concepts to seek, this sounds like government needs, but this is what they tell me. Design concepts to seek a design variation since we will not be able to meet our own standards. I expect this review and approval to be received by the end of the year, and then we can begin to the real design work in 2025. Following this process will save us money in the long run, since we will avoid chasing possible solutions that will not be approved at the end. Once design begins, and it should take us 6 to 9 months to complete the design, and once that's completed, we can get the process, begin the process of securing a contractor for the construction effort. And I'd like to remind our maintenance crew that, our road crew, that markings on Rainbow Lakes Boulevard need to be updated. They told me to refresh the stop bar pavement marking on Rainbow Lakes Boulevard. I assume our guys would know what that is.
That would be county.
County would do that? Okay. And I want to take a moment to congratulate the entire staff for the excellent job done on the Fall Craft Show. With an estimated count of over 1,500 visitors, this was a smashing success. Congratulations. Excellent job. And I also want to thank Chad and all his staff for the work on the planning program. I learned a great deal and look forward to working with them to make RLE an even better place to live and prosper. And as a side note, as we were getting ready to leave home, watching the news, and saw that 2 police officers were killed in the line of duty. I'm sorry, it just chokes me up because police, they constantly get hassled. They constantly get hassled and belittled. And these guys gave their all. I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Is this on? I turned it off. There we go. Hey, George, I have a question.
Yes.
These 2-arm mast signal structures on the west side of the intersection, that's
on this side. That's on this side of 41.
Are these going to interfere with the view of a brick entry?
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll just...
I'm going to contact them and tell them, that aesthetics, aesthetics aren't the important thing here. I want safety.
I was just going to suggest on Pam's time off, she could move those walls over a few feet.
Make them a little higher. Make them a little taller.
Sorry, Pam. Okay, thanks.
I'll make them aware of it.
All right, thanks. Moving on, Buildings and Grounds Representative Kathy Bryant.
I have no update.
No update? Okay, thank you. Code Enforcement Representative is a vacant position. Levy County Representative Danville Shusen.
Okay, mine is pretty quick and easy. There are no new code enforcement items from Levy County. I have been making my rounds, and I wanted to share with the rest of the board that the Cox property is vacant and is up for sale.
Oh, hallelujah. I mean, that's nice.
Currently in the Levy County side, I have 1 person over there still residing in a mobile home or motor home on the property. And I haven't been able to get a response back from Levy on the status of the complaint that was filed on that. It may have also expired, which means that I will have to file another one. So that's an open item for me to follow up on. Other than that, I wanted to ask if there is anything that roads maintenance can do about sand abatement at the intersection of Southeast 136th and Southeast 105th. There's nothing wrong with the roadway, it's just you can't see it anymore. It is pretty much covered in sand, and I mean covered. One of the neighbors out there had been abating it. It's just gotten out of control. It is one that I think Pete Hodges had on his list and looked at it. There's some issue, they're looking at engineering because it may need a culvert for water drainage. But until something's done, we've got to abate the sand. It's gotten slick. Anyway, other than that, no other public safety issues. I did want to bring up one item that was mentioned last meeting, and I know that the timing was off. Are year-end financials available yet? No. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Dan, before you might want to explain what the Cox property actually was.
Okay.
Or why it was brought up.
Barbara Cox originally purchased her property from a company called AGT back in 2020. When she purchased the property, she was going to she was attempting to go through the permit process, but it wasn't moving fast enough. She needed to move her father out of their existing home in, where were they? Doesn't really matter. Out of their existing residence. He was a cancer survivor and could not be around the rest of the family during the COVID outbreak. So she moved him into a shed that they had outfitted with a single bedroom, a bathroom, and some sort of water supply. I have no idea. Nobody was able to figure out where the water was coming from. The sewage was removed via truck in tanks off of the property because there was no septic. She then attempted to petition Levy County to change the coding and zoning for the 14% of Rainbow Lakes Estates in Levy County to accept tiny homes, trailers, RVs, some sort of what she kept referring to as affordable housing, because she had attempted to pick up a permit to install wells and so on, and when the building code went out and saw what was occurring, they would not approve any permits until the issue that was occurring out there with a gentleman living in a shed was dealt with. She refused to deal with that. Her father did eventually pass away, unfortunately, during this process. But she actually sued Levy County to force them to try and change the zoning. And Levy County said, no, we can't, because it is a separate standing district and is governed primarily by Marion County. So we needed to get Marion County involved to please provide the necessary coding and zoning for the 14% or the Levy County portion of Rainbow Lakes Estates, which they did, and Levy County was able to abate the issue. They told her to go back. They would go ahead and let her remove the items, go back, do the permit process, and start over again, and they would process it through the normal channels at that point. She refused to do so, saying that it was financially hardship for them. They continued to live on the property for about 4 years. They lost the battle in court with Levy County, and they have subsequently, I guess, vacated the property. They've removed everything that was out there, and the property is now for sale by the Cox family. It's a private party sale.
the outcome was that Levy County adopted all of Marion County zoning and codes so that we're uniform throughout the whole county. And Dan worked very hard with the Levy County Board of County Commissioners and the officials there.
Yeah.
And I'm still grateful for that.
Good job.
Okay. And that was a short version, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't want to go into too much detail. I would have been here
We
for
all
another
sat
2
through it.
hours. 'Cause it was quite extensive. There was a lot of heated arguments and late commissioner meetings over this, so.
Thanks, Dan. Moving on. Recreation Representative Paula Golick.
Tater Tot Tuesdays are from 10 a.m. to noon at the community center, open to the public. Pickleball is Mondays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. at the Sea Cliff Community Park. It is open to the public. For more information about these programs, call 352-465-0630 or email rainbow.lakes@marionfl.org. Recreation. The youth center is open on Wednesday and Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. It costs $5 a year for residents and $10 a year for non-residents. Plants walks are the third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. in the community center. The next two will be December 17th and January 21st. They are open to the public. The fitness center is available 24/7 for members except on Wednesday and Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. for cleaning. Single memberships are $25, couple memberships are $40, and memberships for children 12 to 17 years old are $10. Children must be accompanied by a legal guardian, and all members must sign in when they use the facility. Tours and registration are available every Wednesday. Call 352-489-4280 to book an appointment. Kayaks are available for rent Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. $25 for the first hour and $5 for every additional hour. They are available to the public. The Holly Jolly Christmas Party will be December 14th from 10 a.m. to noon. There will be Christmas card making, a craft station, sugar cookie decoration, pictures with Santa, and more. It is open to the public. The next meet and greet dinner will be January 24th from 6 to 9, or while supplies last, at the community center. Bring a valid ID with an RLE address on it to the center that night, or a utility bill to validate residency to the district office before January 24th. The menu is tentatively hot dogs and hamburgers. More information will be shared later. For more information about these activities, call 352-489-4280. More information about our clubs is on the table at the entrance. If you are interested in starting a new club, please call 352-489-4280 to discuss your idea. That's it.
Thank you, Paul. Is this still on? Oh, I keep turning it off. All right, moving on. Roads Representative Rico Spicuzza is absent. So we go to 3B, Staff Report. Pamela Spicuzza, RLE Community Center Supervisor.
Thank you. The roof of the district office has been completed. They finished it today with the gutters. So that's done. The cost was $13,684. The PO was issued for $14,025 because that included 10% contingency. So there's $341 left on the balance of the PO, which I closed today. We budgeted $20,000. So we have money left over there. We were under budget. The finance report will be provided quarterly to the advisory board, but I will give a brief report every meeting. So for general government, the expenditures for October was $40,535.80, and the revenue was $25,370.83. Recreation expenditures was $18,115.21. Revenue was $3,762.98. Road and street or road construction expenditures were $52,891.32, and revenue was $8,153.48. I want to review some of the events that we've had. The annual Ghost Goblins and Ghouls Halloween event, we had 150 people attend that. The annual Fall Craft Festival, we had a total of 85 vendors. We collected $1,846. We expended $1,300, and so we cleared $546. We also had 1,557 people attend. Next year, which I've already started advertising for, we need more volunteers for the setup time. Poor Robert was literally running places. Staff will be here at 6 because the vendors start coming early. They weren't supposed to be here till 7:30, but they started at 7. So we need more volunteers in the morning.
Yeah. By the end of the day, I was dragging.
Yeah, it's a long, long day. I will also be putting together a procedure manual on how to handle applications and people who cancel and that sort of thing. Paul already reported about the 3rd annual Holly Jolly Christmas party. Some miscellaneous items. Our monthly supply drive and participation with Romeo Elementary. The current month, November, the items are Vienna sausages and Spam. December is fidget spinners and gift cards. The dock repairs. So what we've done with the dock is it's been completely repaired with the trucks. Then we've gone back and put a 3-foot black fence on the outside of it and have secured the pieces of the tracks, the dock, to the black fence with wire zip ties. So we're hoping that if or when they kick it, it won't go into the water. We can at least have the parts to repair. So hopefully that will, and you can't even see the black fence from like the office, you can't see it. So we're hoping it's a preventative thing. I don't know what we'll do beyond that. If they find a way to get it into the water, I think it would take a lot because there are metal zip ties, not just plastic ones. And we put like stanchions to hold the fence up also. So it's kind of reinforced. I don't know if you guys during the day want to go take a look at it individually, but if you have any other ideas, we did get new signs about it's under surveillance. We got new no pets allowed signs. So we're moving forward with some of the stuff up here. The community center freezer has been repaired and the ice machine has been cleaned for a cost of $1,200. We are going to put the ice machine on annual maintenance. It needs to be cleaned once a year. Once the clubhouse renovations have been completed, that machine will also be added. The old HVAC company used to maintain those things. The new company doesn't do that, so we found one in Ocala that will put it on a maintenance plan. We're working with FWC to host fishing and boating camps. They will loan RLE John boats. We may have a cost of having to purchase the motor things, what are they called? Trolling motors, yeah. You know, the motor thingies. We already have life jackets and whistles and all that sort of stuff, but we're gonna work with them and they will give us 5 John boats and we'll be able to store them here. Also, all the employees, and we're gonna try to bring maintenance into this also, will take a boating safety class.
Good.
So we'll all be, well, I won't, but we'll all be able to run a class or whatever. And it'll probably be ages 9 and up, because the kids will be in the boats by themselves at one point.
Okay,
So,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it does.
That's
I
it?
like that. That's a
Wow,
great
good idea.
program.
All right, thank you, Frank.
You're quite welcome.
Thanks. All right, special committee guests. Chad Wicker, Marion County Municipal Services Director. I got it. They keep changing the names.
Good evening. I do have one item I wanted to bring up that's not on the agenda, and it's the fire assessment for your tax bills. If you have not noticed already, all of the tax bills for Rainbow Lakes Estates on the Marion County side.
No, I get that, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, is incorrect. When Marion County took over the fire services, the Board of County Commissioners approved to offset the cost of the current Marion County-wide fire for 3 years. And this was the last year that the offset was supposed to happen. With the new fiscal year being October 1, our software started in preparations for the 2025 assessment transition. Changed your district. We did not realize that IT pulls the data though from our software for the tax collector the second week of the new fiscal year. And so there was a slight glitch. And the new assessment was loaded on this year's tax bill instead of next year's tax bill. So what has happened is the tax collector has put a hold on all of the parcels in RLE, so you can't pay your tax bill. If you have already paid the tax bill, when I do the certificate of corrections with the state, refund will be issued for the difference.
Oh, they're gonna do a refund? I figured that they would do a credit carryover.
No, we're gonna do it. It'll be a cleaner. There have not been a whole lot of them paid.
Right, I know, I've been fielding these too.
Yeah, so when I do the COC, it will automatically trigger the system to send you a refund.
Okay, thank you.
And so that'll happen, but also revised tax bills are right in the process now of being reprinted and will be resent out to all of the residents of RLE, so you'll have an updated tax bill. And as well as the 4% early payment discount is being extended. So that'll be extended.
That was my
all
next
the-
question.
Yeah. So it was a little learning opportunity for us in that software. So we apologize for any inconvenience in case you get some calls. We haven't had too many in the office. I don't know about here locally, but up where we're at, I think we've had 1 or 2 calls. And then if you try to go pay the bill, it'll actually tell you there's a hold and to contact the tax.
Okay, I call foul.
Uh-oh.
I've gotten 6.
And you're Levy County.
Yes, but I'm still Rainbow Lakes Estates, okay?
So, yeah.
I received over a dozen,
I'm sorry.
and about 5 of them came in when I was in church
Yeah.
up north.
It's been a lot of work. We have to do COCs for each parcel. There's quite a few parcels in RLE, so it's been keeping us very busy, but.
Thank you for bringing that up though and giving us all the details. I was like,
Yeah.
I know some of this is still out for debate and they're working on it, but this is what's going on because I've had some people come to me and go, I paid the increased amount. And I'm like, I'm sure that you'll be made whole on it.
Oh,
This is what the problem is. This is what happened. And then I had a couple of them, they were like, how come I can't pay my tax bill? I don't want to be paying the additional fees. And then I was like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, we extended that and it's in the process of being rebuilt or updated bill and it'll be remailed out. So.
I don't know, the longer I can get away without paying taxes, the happier I am.
Without penalty.
Without a penalty.
Our software is very efficient, it's just too efficient for this. So I apologize for any inconvenience.
Thank you, Chad. Is that it?
That's it for this one.
Okay, moving on. Old business. We have no consent, so we go into old business. 6A, Rainbow Lakes Estates entry walls and median island landscaping, progress report on estimates for re-landscaping.
Yep, so it triggered the dollar amount that requires us to go out for bid, for official bids, so through our procurement department, so he's actually working on that right now.
Pete Hodges?
Pete Hodges, yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're gonna get 3 official bids.
I like him. He's good.
Yeah, he's very good. And then, of course, in May, we're gonna go ahead and cancel that contract for maintenance. So, or we won't renew it, I should say.
Anybody else have anything they want to say about the?
I just wanted to know, since we've gone to the formal bid process, are we looking at a 30, 60 timeframe?
I don't think it's not a request for bid, so it's not like I have to send it out and wait for 30 days. We just have to get 3 hard bids. from-
Okay, so there's no RFP
No,
requirement?
no, sir.
Okay, all right.
No, sir, so we shouldn't be too far out.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Moving on to 6B, clubhouse renovations, a progress report on renovations.
I'm still waiting on the 100, yeah, the 100% plans from the designer. I'll call tomorrow and get an update on that, I apologize. And then you want me to talk about 6C?
What's that?
You want me to continue with 6C, which is...
Yeah, do you want to bring this up?
Absolutely. So part of the 5-year plan, which by the way, we're working on that summary now, so I'll get you guys a summary soon, and then...
Okay.
As part of the 5-year plan, the board directed us to get an assessment done on the Rainbow Lakes Estates Youth Center, Community Center, and Creative Arts Center. This is the quote that I promised that I would bring back to the board for review. The scope of work for this is actually they'll come out and do a site visit. They'll let us know any site improvements that they feel like needs to happen. They'll take a look at the building structure to see if it's structurally sound, if there's anything that we need to update. They'll also look at the entire building envelope, the building exterior, do any assessments that need to be there, whether it's for the looks of it, or weather resistance, structural support, that type of thing. They'll do an assessment on the roof, and of course the building interior. They'll take a look at all the mechanical, electric, plumbing, fire, life safety systems. They'll take a look at ADA compliance. They'll put all of that in a report. Some of it, they'll actually give us some bids on what it would take, or a rough estimate on what it would take to bring everything up to speed, or what they're recommending that we do for that building.
Right.
And then they'll give it to us in a professional report.
Okay,
that
so
we can
they're-
then use and pick and choose what we want to do.
Okay, all right. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you're not, if they provide us the report, you're not locked into doing what that report says. It just gives you a professional opinion on what they feel like it needs to happen in order to bring it up to code.
Okay.
And then we can decide what we want to do. They did break the quote down to the 3 different buildings. For the youth center, it would be around $2,700. The community center would be $3,400, and the creative arts center would be $2,900. This is the same company that Marion County Facilities uses to evaluate all of their buildings as well. So the company already does work for Marion County. They do a very good job. Anytime that we're going to do a remodel or renovate for Marion County BCC, this is the company that they go through.
Okay.
And so if the board is, if I could get, I guess, consensus or approval from the board to continue with the quotes, I can go ahead and have them start the evaluation and provide us with the reports. It would come out of professional services.
I was gonna ask, and have, by any chance, have you two talked about what's sitting in that particular account now? The pro fees?
We have not talked yet. This just came in.
Okay.
This afternoon. There is funding in that account. There's some funding in there for law enforcement, some engineering services.
I just wanna make sure, I'll make a motion to move forward on all 3 of them. I just wanna make sure that the funding is in place before I do that.
Yeah.
There is funding in place in that account.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a question before you make.
absolutely.
Okay, on page 3, the paragraph above the fee quote and schedule says, conditions not observable from ground level will be presumed acceptable. And I went back to the roofing area, and on page 2, it's talking about the roofing area, and basically it just says, observing. Can they observe all of the roof on the community center from the ground level? They don't say anything about getting up on the roof and looking at the roof.
Yeah. You have to get on the roof to
I agree.
inspect it.
I was thinking, Mr. Chairman, I think the roof is probably something that It's gonna have to be done anyway. It's been at least 15 years.
The roof on
On the community center.
this building.
Yes.
All right.
What was it that you were saying on page 3?
Page 3 under I'm sorry, Paula,
It starts with much of the work to be performed and about halfway down the paragraph. It says, conditions not observable from ground level will be presumed acceptable.
I can definitely clarify that with the company before I proceed.
Okay.
If you did vote on it tonight to proceed, I would definitely make sure that they're gonna get up and actually put eyes on that.
And my other question, is it possible to get a couple more quotes, or do you can't do that?
For different companies,
Yeah,
I can. It's already, when Marion County went out and got their proposals, this was the most qualified lowest bid company. So they already did the work for us as far as finding the lowest company. This is in my opinion, and based off talking to our facilities director, when they went out and did the quote looking for companies, this was the one that they selected.
Okay. So what do y'all want to do?
I just want to make sure Paula's okay before I say anything. I mean,
I'm okay. It's just that one question that I like.
no, and I'm glad that you caught that. I did not catch that, so thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And as long as Chad, I mean, he said that he would,
I will absolutely, and it would be in my best interest. So
yeah,
I will
because
absolutely.
she did bring up a valid point. I mean, we're talking of most roofs, yes, you can. Not this one. No,
You can't see very much of it from the ground.
no. So that was awesome, Paula, thank you. But with that, I would move to approve these,
And
all three of them.
I would second that.
So make the motion so
Make the
that
motion.
we understand it.
Can I make the motion to please proceed with all three?
And I'd second that.
All right, and we have a second with George. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And I do want to note, I did send this for our facilities director to review before I do anything with it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he looks at them all the time, so I'm relying on his expertise.
Yeah. Because it's like,
Okay.
it is an unusual.
Yep. So he is very willing to help us through this process.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Paula.
All right, now, I actually had you address this under the clubhouse renovations because, you know, we're doing the assessments.
Oh, gotcha.
It probably should have been done under the 5-year plan workshop.
Gotcha.
So we'll move on to the 5-year plan workshop, which we've discussed this, so this is done, and we voted on it. So anything else about the 5-year plan workshop?
No, we're in the process now of finishing the summary and getting everything ready to present to you, hopefully or it will be by February, like promised.
Okay.
If I can get it done earlier, I'll definitely bring it to you.
Yeah, I'd like to, yeah, hopefully we can get it for the January meeting.
Yeah, I will definitely work for that goal.
Thank you,
At
John.
least a draft for you guys to review.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
No problem. I got you.
Okay, anybody have anything else to say about the 5-year plan workshop? Any questions, suggestions? Nothing. Okey doke, moving on. All right. Very recently, our Rainbow Bridal Room here in the community center was completed. So before moving on to new business, I am calling a 15-minute recess so that board members and residents can take a tour of this amazing renovations to this building. There's ramps over here, and you can follow the ramps up to take a look at the building, at the room. So time me 15 minutes. Ready? We all ready? And we're back. Okay. Very rarely is the hard work of our staff members recognized. I want to take a minute here to thank our community center supervisor, Pamela Spaguzza. I sincerely appreciate your dedication and hard work throughout this project. which was crucial in bringing it to a successful completion. So Pam, thank you for your time and commitment. You went above and beyond, and your efforts will surely benefit our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, moving right along now. New business. Facility rental fees. This is the initial discussion concerning adjusting the rental rates and fees on our buildings and facilities, as well as organizations and club fees, so that we can renew interest in rentals and create much needed revenue. Now, I'm sure you've seen all the hard work that went into, oh boy, I'm full of compliments tonight, aren't I?
Yeah,
I'm off my game.
Losing ground, boss.
So, this is just to start the discussion. We're not going to vote or anything on this tonight because there's going to be a lot of research. I think board members are going to want to have a lot of input. So, does anybody have anything to start with as far as these fees? Are you all aware of what the fees are now for our buildings? Yeah, you all have sheets.
Yeah, I am now. And I know that I have this somewhere.
What's that?
I couldn't find it.
Find what?
Hour rates. I know I have them somewhere, I just couldn't find them, so
Right there.
thank you. No,
Right there.
in my files.
These are, in your folders are our current rates, which at a quick glance seem quite a bit higher than some of these others. Am I right? Ours are?
Depends on how you look at it. A lot of them have kitchens, but you're not allowed to cook in them.
Right.
You're only allowed to warm up. And then some of them you can only use catering.
And also, I don't see anything on this list about the gazebo. Isn't the gazebo also a rentable?
Yeah, it's on.
Did I miss it?
It's under, it's D on the
Let
list.
me see. Oh, right here.
Yes.
Oops.
Okay, and this is for 2 hours. Okay. I see the pavilions.
And Pam, what's the capacity of this building?
What's that?
250 sit-down dinner, 333.
Whoa.
Sorry, 250 for dinner,
Thank you.
333 meeting.
And the clubhouse, do you happen to know that one?
The clubhouse is 150.
Is that dinner?
That's just the capacity of the fire marshal.
Okay, so that's it, non-event. Got it.
Just that's the max.
It'll make it easier for me to do a comparison. Because this is well done, this, the surrounding research.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
amazing.
very well
Yeah,
done.
that-
Very well done.
Amazing.
Really like the way,
Tiffany made the phone calls and put this together.
way to go, both of you.
Yeah. Given the prices of some of the other places, they offer more, they provide more for less money. So I think perhaps we are a little on the high side. If we're on the high side, that might be a reason people would go elsewhere. The other thing that's been a problem in the past, we've had issues in the past, I guess, with alcohol being taken to excess here. And that's another issue.
Well, one of the things that we've done to remedy the security is that we are having staff attend the events or the rentals. So we'll do a double, like Monty and I will do one rental and Tiffany and Robert will do the next one, and then we'll rotate like that.
So we're having staff members attend these.
Yeah,
Well,
yes.
I understand why, that's not.
Oh, yeah,
my
I
question.
fully agree.
I completely understand why.
Yeah.
I just,
So you won't have the $65 security fees.
okay, and then, you know me, the numbers guy, right? Now I'm like, and your hourly rate is what?
I know, I know, But it's either, you have to have someone here, because the cleaning crew that they pay for is not, they're not here to monitor.
No,
They're
I
here to
understand.
clean.
Right.
And they were fully aware that they were serving alcohol to minors and things like that, so, it's almost like blinders, you know? The only reason they called us when they backed into the well is because there was no water. So we have to have someone here.
So just to clarify, so I make sure we all understand this. If you live in RLE, to rent this building is $75 per hour.
Yes,
And on top of that, there's a $25 per hour cleanup fee. And on top of that, there's a $65 per hour security fee.
yes,
So this building is costing $165 an hour if you live in RLE.
correct.
With a 4-hour minimum.
What's that?
With a 4-hour minimum.
Right, for 4 hours minimum. All right. Yeah, I think that we do have to figure a way to bring these fees
Yeah.
down.
We've got to look at this. We're gonna have to take a hard look at this and see if we can restructure this a different way or something, because therein lies our problem. This is why our revenues are dropping. I couldn't afford to rent either one of these buildings for an event. I couldn't do it.
That
So
does
these
seem
fees
it.
went into effect at the bottom, you'll see revised 3/16 and 23. That's when the fees went into effect for the security and the additional cleaning.
And I think something else killed our rentals was when we did away with alcohol.
Yes,
And Chad, the question to you would be, I realize, the ownership of the building and all that. Is there a way alcohol could be allowed if they insured themselves? Can you run that by legal for us?
so basically, if you look at Citrus Springs, their building is based on ours, because I let them come in and I let them see our plans, and so it's basically the same building. Citrus Springs charges $95 an hour, you have to pay for an off-duty officer, and you have to have $1 million liability. Liability insurance would be about $300 to $400.
Very expensive cocktails, wouldn't you say?
So we can, we have to
Yeah,
have
their fee
something.
is $249 because it says, alcohol is allowed, deputy required $249.
Yeah,
And that doesn't take into account their hourly rate.
correct.
Where are you reading this from? Oh,
Citrus
okay.
Springs is the same.
Yeah, I have to
sheet.
go over these.
Any individuals?
I will tell you, when it comes to the alcohol, Chad, sorry. When it comes to the alcohol, right now, there are no county facilities that the commissioners will allow alcohol at. They are in the process of reviewing that policy now for some of the parks, like the Ag Center. They have a big auditorium like this, 3 times this size. And right now, they cannot lease it out with alcohol. And so they are in the process of reviewing that policy.
Could you please keep us in on the loop on that?
Absolutely will.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I'll let them know that you guys have an appetite for possibly including alcohol.
All right, well, like I said, this is an initial discussion. And I not only would like to see something done here, and I understand, what we're comparing to, and we have great buildings here and a lot of amenities. I'd actually like to do a better price than some of these buildings, these other competitors, do we call them?
Yeah, they're competition. Yeah, they are.
So I'd like to see something where we could get to quantity, if that makes sense.
We have to look at and keep in mind, protection of the building.
Right.
We did And we kept that several times. One of the times, they had a bunch of kids in here that took the carts from the kitchen and rode them across the floor and ruined the wax job, and that was $600 to fix that.
Right.
And they punched a hole in the wall. So there went their damage deposit. So we have to keep that in mind.
Right.
I know that the staff thing, and believe me, none of us wanna work Saturdays. I don't, you know?
So dinging you on that.
No, I'm just saying, we
Yeah.
don't wanna work Saturdays, but we have to protect our investment.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, absolutely,
I agree
yeah.
with that also.
Yeah,
Maybe the board members would like to volunteer.
Yet at the same time, we did away with alcohol, and they were drinking in a parking lot and not into the
Yeah. Because
well out there.
Because we didn't have security and there was no staff. So
Right.
maybe we could work something out with, rotating with advisory board members too, with the staff, so it will cut the staff cost in
Right.
half.
Is the security provided by a deputy like the other ones have?
Security is provided by either FWC officer, Marion County deputy, or a Florida Highway Patrol. We have a contract with them. They're the ones that patrol Rainbow Lakes Estates every other weekend or 2 weekends a month.
Right, right. All right. Anybody have any? We're just gonna, if the board members would, review all this over the next 2 months, actually, month and a half, whatever it is. And the staff come up with some of their own opinions as well. And Chad, if you could look into that alcohol
I will absolutely.
issue,
Chairman, if I may suggest, maybe the board appoint a liaison to work with staff to come up with a proposal to present to the advisory board for updated fees. That may be beneficial. Up to you.
I'm fine with that. Yes, I would definitely tap into that resource if that resource is available.
You're fine with what?
Having them do some research to come up, to see where we can.
They're looking for somebody to.
You're asking for a board member, right?
Yeah, I didn't know.
One of us?
Well, staff can definitely do the research and present. I just didn't know if maybe the board wanted to appoint a liaison to work with staff to come up with a plan to present back to the board. Just a thought. We can definitely do it. We don't require it. I just didn't know.
Dan, you just jumped right in there,
Yeah, I
didn't
did.
you?
And
Didn't
here's the
you?
thing.
Yeah, Dan's gonna be your liaison. How's that?
Whoever it is, if you decide to do that, would work with Katie and Pam and the rest of the team to come up with a presentable option. It's just an idea, or we can come
Yeah, I
back
can
with a
do
presentable
that.
option.
No,
I can do that.
I think Dan's more than willing to.
Sorry, Dave.
What's that word that Robert's wife always uses? Voluntold? You've been voluntold, Dan. Okay, so this will stay on the agenda and we'll discuss this in January. Okay, moving on. We discussed the clubhouse 7B, the clubhouse being used as a hurricane relief station. Update on progress to designate the RLE clubhouse as a hurricane relief center to be opened after a hurricane or natural disaster as ordered under the state of emergency declared by Marion County and or the state of Florida. Due to the fact that this structure would not qualify as a shelter, it would only be opened as a relief center after a storm or natural disaster. So has anybody looked into that? Or I believe the Assistant County Administrator was going to look into that.
I will follow up with her.
Okay, anybody have any suggestions here from the board about this?
It got brought up by me, that's why we got started on this. We have excellent facilities here, and the fact that a major hurricane hasn't come through here in the past 10 years, it's inevitable, it will happen. And we need to be prepared for it. And if we're not prepared for it, shame on us.
Right.
So just
My only question that I have about this is, let's say, and it would have to be something that was declared a state of emergency by the authorities. We're just not gonna open this building, you know, for any reason whatsoever, or that building, actually, the clubhouse. I guess something like a huge fire, which I understand they had here, how many years ago, Pam? There was a fire that burnt half a Goth in part of our community.
No,
Yeah, there was.
there was? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
before my time, even in Rainbow Lakes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it.
I've been here
Um,
40 years, I don't remember.
But anyway, it would have to come down to what it constitutes opening the building, and for what percentage, as far as, you know, if all of Rainbow Lakes loses electric for a week, you know, the building could be open. If 50% loses it, but if 2 streets lose it with 5 houses between them, do we spend the money and the time and effort to open the building?
So just make sure I understand, if there's an emergency, you wanna open up the building to run the generator so that way there's water and electric.
Yes.
And they would just come and hang out in the building or?
Yeah, get
Yeah.
some air conditioning.
Air
or-
conditioning, possibly showers,
Water,
whatever,
you know.
with water available.
I don't know about the shower.
You would have to have a time limit too.
Oh, I
Although that building does have showers.
I'm sorry, I would see it working something like this. If we're going to do we're gonna do the relief center, but I would see it as, it would be opening if Marion County was under a state of emergency.
Right.
Yes.
One,
Right.
okay? And then, of course, after the storm, whatever, then the relief center could open if necessary. But if we don't have, you know, like the last time, there wasn't any major power outage, why would you open it? There's
Right.
no need to. But if I say, you know, if 45% or 40% of our district is hit without power, yeah, then I think that as long as the county is under that state of emergency, then that relief center should be activating.
Right.
As for the time to expire, it should expire when the state of emergency ends.
I meant a time limit on hanging out.
Well, I'm not sure you can do that because some people would be coming here because they need to operate their oxygen machines.
That's
and so on and so
different thing,
forth.
But the building will only hold so many people. You
Correct.
don't want a line outside because someone has decided they want to sleep there. You know what I mean? You have to rotate. If we're in that big of a disaster area, you have to rotate the people.
Right.
You have to.
And the building would not be open all night long.
Yeah,
It's
it would
not a
be.
shelter.
It's not a shelter. We've
But
already
that's
been
what
told
I'm
that we
saying,
wouldn't be
yeah,
able to do
right.
that.
But you still have to rotate. You can't.
Right.
Let 'em
But
stay
what
for
Dan
hours.
said was what I was trying to explain, just, you know, unless it's a majority or a
How
large
do you
portion,
determine the percentage?
that would be a question.
You're gonna have to just set an arbitrary number and go
But
from
how
there.
do you determine a percent? How do you know? Who's gonna tell you that 47% is without power? How do you find that out?
Well,
That's what I'm trying to find out, how we would find it out.
There
I think
is,
that we could reach out to, because there's really only 2 power providers in here. There's Seiko and there's Duke. We
Yeah, they're-
contact them and we say, how many recorded outages do you have in our area?
there is a website that will tell you,
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, it is
Exactly.
available.
And
This
then we
would
make
that-
a determination from there.
Okay, make no doubt in one thing, the operation of this center would be run by this district office.
Exactly. It would have to be. We can't open it.
And Chad would be the one to determine if we open it?
And I agree with you, by the
Oh, I
way.
believe so.
Pam, I agree with you, you can't have people coming to stay for 8 and 12 hours.
No.
You know, it does
It's not
have
a
to
flop
be-
house, no.
Yeah.
I would suggest hurricane shutters.
Frankly, we had them on our house, and I had them removed. They look ugly.
Yeah, but you pull them closed when it's an issue, and then you just open them, right?
Okay, we'll take it. We can always add that to our plan,
Yeah,
Pam.
we can add it.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome, Pam.
All right, well, this is gonna stay on the agenda for January, and maybe we'll hear something from Tracy, right? Tracy Stroud?
I'll be honest, I did not remember that she was gonna bring back something on the clubhouse relief station, so I'll get with her
Okay.
and see what we can find out. Maybe we can get with,
I mean, it's been done before. It's not like we
Yeah,
have to
absolutely.
invent
Sure,
some
absolutely.
rules from scratch. We just snatch somebody else's and alter them.
One other point. Would the use of this be limited to RLE residents? Would have to be, wouldn't it?
I think it would have to be because of the size of the building. I don't think we could, unfortunately, in this kind of situation, I don't think we'd be able to reach out to surrounding communities. We don't have a large enough facility.
Well, not only that, but you'll be using your funds to pay for the fuel for that generator.
Right.
So,
So I would think it's limited to our residents.
Limited to residents only, okay. I agree, I just want to make clear, sure.
Even if you decide not to open the building or whatever, the well is still attached to it, so we can always give water.
All
So
right.
keep that in mind.
Thank you.
All right. Well, like I said, keep this on the agenda and find out, and
yeah.
we'll see what we can do. All right, moving on. 7C, the 2025 Rainbow Lakes Advisory Board meeting schedule. Any questions concerning the 2025 proposed meeting schedule? If there's no questions, I'm going to need a motion and a second and a vote to approve this.
I have one comment.
What's that, Nick?
I have one comment. Wow, we're getting more meetings. Does this mean we're actually getting things accomplished? Way to go, guys.
Thank you. Anybody else with questions? Then I'm going to need a motion and a second.
I'll motion it.
I'll second. Unless,
Kathy seconded it.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's it for new business. Prior meeting update. All right, Chad, I'm going to throw these two things right in your lap.
Okay.
Okay, boat launch permit fees. This board had voted to raise the boat launch permit fees and change the ordinance so it would have several penalty phases for violators. At the time, the Marion County Sheriff's Office lieutenant in attendance at our meeting stated he would take our recommendations to the Sheriff's Department for approval. In a follow-up, it was stated that this was acceptable and legal would write up the ordinance and seek approval from the Marion County Board of County Commissioners because it is an ordinance. We have heard nothing concerning the new ordinance and fees, and I suspect it's fallen through the cracks of bureaucracy. After the initial vote, Rainbow Lakes Estates Board member Paula Gallick felt that the fees approved were excessive. Do you remember that, Paula? I agree with Mrs. Gallick that they were excessive. I recommend that we revisit the issue at our January meeting to reconsider these proposed fees and penalties. I'm going to request Marion County Municipal Services Director Chad Wicker investigate what would be required once the board makes a new recommendation.
To make the fees go into place? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
In other words, it's a law. Our boat ramp fees are enacted in law, and the penalty right now is pretty severe, actually. So there should be a step-up type penalty. And that, we did vote on it, we approved it after the fact, and I believe we approved it in, I got it here, 2022. And Paul, I have to agree, after you had spoken after this vote, $50 a year for a resident is steep.
I think the county was cheaper.
What's that?
Yeah.
I think the county was cheaper.
You did say the county was cheaper.
Yeah.
And a non-resident at $100, we're going from $1 to 50. I realize Mr. Levitt was the one that pushed for this, and I had a different fee, if you remember at the time. Mine were lower. I think it was $25 a year per resident. But either way, I think that we'll this is gonna be put on the agenda for January,
Yeah,
and we really need to find out how to set the correct fees and penalties, and how we go about getting them approved by the county commissioners.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do research on how to get the ordinance changed once you vote on what you want to do.
I'm giving you a lot of homework today. He wishes he stayed home.
I think when you see the way that it's currently written, I don't know if it ever went through, so, because I was here for that meeting, and I was like, ooh, that's pretty severe, because I'm like, it's kind of a penalty like trespass. It's a trespass arrest. You know, yeah, it's a little, I'm like, okay, I don't want to use it.
Well, the one we had approved, I think the first, we went with a 4 penalty thing.
Yeah.
And the first was a warning. I know
Correct.
that. You know, I don't recall, I think, you know, the 4th was, you keep violating it,
Yeah.
get locked up.
Yeah, but I think currently it's kind of severe. I think that right now they have it listed as kind of a,
Right.
under trespass.
All right.
This is to launch a vote.
Yeah, without the proper fees being paid.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. You know, we might even want to consider, and it was brought up to me today, something like an honor box or something also.
Parks and Rec.
That might be. So maybe something on that order. Give Pam something to do every Monday morning, go out and collect the fees from the box. She hates me. All right, moving on. The Holly Jolly Christmas Party Santa Ride-Along. Earlier in the year, as well as in 7 recent prior years, it had been discussed that we request Marion County Fire Rescue to assist with the Santa ride-along that would coincide with the Holly Jolly Christmas Party. For decades, Rainbow Lakes Estates Volunteer Fire Department conducted a ride-along that residents very much enjoyed. This event ceased once Marion County Fire Rescue assumed control of our department. This is an event that many people look forward to and without a doubt should return to Rainbow Lakes Estates. I'm requesting that Marion County Municipal Service Director Chad Wicker investigate what would be required to restart this. Is there some process to ask the county to come along in and help with that? Basically, the fire department had a trailer, they had a sled, they threw Santa in the sled and drove him through the neighborhoods, throwing out candy canes and candy. Now, they can't do that now because they're under Marion County. There's some kind of, I mean, I've seen Marion County fire trucks in parades, but this we call the ride-along. It wasn't an official parade, but
It's my understanding they just need to talk to their battalion chief.
what's that?
They just need to talk to their battalion chief. That's all they need to do. If they want to do the ride-along, they just need to ask the battalion chief.
Was it pulled by a fire truck?
Yes.
The trailer was pulled by a fire truck?
Yes.
Okay.
With a really nice sled in it.
I don't know where the sled is. I think it's on the way.
I'm just thinking that, you know, you have the Holly Jolly Christmas party and maybe it could end because you run that early, it's over by noon. Maybe after 12, they can run through the neighborhood.
I don't know. The one year that we did do it with the fire department, it was not a good
I remember that.
vibe.
I remember there was a big competition and all that. I hope all that animosity from the
But the
former fire.
volunteers would need to check with their battalion chief, Chief Reeves, to get permission to do their ride-along.
Right.
So they would have to want to do it.
But could it be from the office that the request goes into Marion County to allow them to come out with a fire truck?
I will find out with the fire chief, but yeah, if they're willing to do it, you're talking about if the firefighters are willing to do it?
Right.
But I can definitely do the homework.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. I know it's not possible this year, but for future years, I don't.
You want it for, okay, yeah,
I
absolutely.
would love it this year because, you know, we're having a party here.
Yeah.
And there is some time. There's, what, 3 weeks?
Let me do my homework.
We know Rome wasn't built in a day, yeah.
That's the last one I'm throwing you under the bus for tonight, Chad.
Thank you.
All right. All right, this is a point where I'm going to open it for general public comments, so anybody that signed up first.
Marcy McKay.
Marcy McKay, 3764 Southwest Bluegill Road. I have a question concerning the Creative Arts Center. There is a broken window, and it has been broken, and I've reported it, and it's still broken. Are we gonna wait for the building to be assessed before it's repaired? My concern is it's got a hole and a crack about maybe the size of a quarter. It wouldn't take much for someone to push it from the outside and completely push that window in and break it.
You said you reported it?
Yeah, I don't remember when. It's been several months ago.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah,
I agree with you, it needs to be.
It's in the kitchen area, in the first room, you know, where the sink is, facing the lake. It's one of the big windows, and it's down in the bottom corner.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to take a look.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you, Marcy. All right, so in other words, she doesn't have to wait till we do the evaluation because that should be fixed.
Yes, sir, I agree.
All right, anyone else have anything that they want to come up and? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing, nothing. All right, I'm going to close the public comment portion. On to announcement. Do any board members or guests have anything they would like to announce or say? I'm always just going to look in your direction.
Keep it clean, Dan.
I am.
All right.
Pam, may I have your attention, please?
Yes, sir.
This is all about you.
Oh, God.
First off, thank you for the Harvest Festival. Awesome job. Both of you. Actually, the whole staff. Good job. I want to talk for a second about something that I overheard and then later was discussed. Did we get our pressure washers back from maintenance?
Yes.
I am glad that Chad is here because I'm not sure if I want to get your department or Marion County involved, but I think that we need to do something. This board agreed to divide up the budgets and divide up the revenues. I'm now hearing scuttlebutt because the maintenance department currently has and houses all of the equipment. Seems reasonable. However, the buildings and grounds people should not have to fight to get the materials, equipment, and so on that they need from the maintenance department to do their jobs. So I'm sitting back here and I'm listening to this and I'm like, well, there is a way to rectify this. It would be to bring Marion County in and say, since this board approved your split of the budgets, I'm now going to ask that somebody perform an inventory on the equipment so that the Buildings and Grounds Department gets their fair share of the equipment that they need to do their jobs without having to hold jobs up and argue between departments about, no, I need that. No, you don't need them. When the whole thing about the pressure washers came up, it befuddled me. Why is it that they are having to argue about getting pressure washers from the roads department garage? They don't need them. They are not pressure washing the roads. But Buildings and Grounds needs them to maintain our facilities. Can we rectify this without bringing the county in?
What do you mean by county?
By having county audit come in to do an inventory.
Yeah, I don't know why county would come in and do an inventory for something like that.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
But I don't
You're asking, saying that the county would have to order an audit.
Correct.
I guess what he's asking is, can it be done without getting an audit of what the equipment is?
Yes, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. And something that involves staff like this shouldn't even be brought to this board to begin with, so I apologize for that.
No, it's all right, that's what we're here for.
No, well, yes, except for the advisory board shouldn't have to get, nor should get involved in staff, and so I will figure out a way to rectify that. I was not aware of that. I do agree that if there are tools that they have that does not pertain to their operations, it needs to be moved to the correct division. Same department, different divisions, and it's all coming from the same.
But I think here is where it was kind of good that it was brought here, because now I'm gonna look to my constituents here. We have a building sitting over there that we still have not decided what we want to do with, which is Station 2.
Go.
Okay. Currently, I think that there are items that are currently being stored over there temporarily until we decide what we're doing with that building. I'm thinking that maybe what we need to do to rectify this whole situation is perhaps make that building buildings and grounds.
I'm not going to disagree.
I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention, mull it over, think about it,
All
see
right,
what you think.
Yeah, actually, I'm even going to jump the gun here. Tiffany, can you add on to January's agenda about designating Station 2 as a permanent buildings and grounds facility? And we'll discuss that then.
Thank you.
That
that's
it?
all I have.
Okay.
Good idea.
The Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
No.
The
I
annual
was
Holly
getting
Jolly
kudos.
Christmas party is Saturday, December 14th from 10 a.m. until noon, hosted right here in the RLE Community Center. Come visit Santa and have some fun with the entire family. Since this is our last board meeting of 2024, on behalf of the Rainbow Lakes Estates Advisory Board, I want to take a moment to wish all our residents and staff a happy Thanksgiving and a very merry holiday season and Christmas and prosperous 2025. Our next advisory board meeting will be held on Thursday, January 16th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. here in the Community Center. See everybody next year. Thank you.